Hey guys, welcome to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So we're back with a Xayah updated complete guide. Now, as I mentioned relatively often when making Xayah videos, I think Xayah is one of the best ADCs in the current meta, and pretty much ever since her, not since her release, but since she released and got a couple of buffs later on, because she was pretty weak on release. Since then, I think she's always been like in the meta and always been a viable pick. There was never really a point where she's very weak, and the main reason that is the case is simply because she has a lot of safety with her Featherstorm, which is the ultimate, makes her untargetable for about a second or so, and that kind of hard counters a lot of champions and a lot of what champions like want to do. So because of that, Xayah is pretty much always going to be good, as is Ezreal, but Xayah is, a crit ADC compared to Ezreal and scales better than Ezreal in my opinion. Although now in the current meta, I think Ezreal is better than Xayah because of the buffs he got and just because of other factors in general, but I think Xayah is a lot more consistent in terms of her always, kind of being in the meta and being viable. But she's, in my opinion, one of the least popular and therefore most underrated ADCs, because I really don't see a lot of people playing Xayah, and I rarely ever see Xayah picked against me, and I'm normally the one picking Xayah in certain matchups. But anyways, with all that out of the way, as usual, refer to the original Xayah complete guide in the cards above for the skills and leveling order. We can jump straight in onto the actual build itself. Now, this isn't actually the build. The build is actually something a little bit more like this. So this is basically the same build as Tristana's build that we went through like 2 days ago. So basically, the logic is pretty similar to Tristana, but it's kind of even better. So first up, of course, we got Storm Razor for attack speed, crit, and attack damage, as well as the slow. Very standard first item for ADCs, not too much to explain here. Next up, we have the Navori Quick Blades. I almost said Storm Razor again. We have the Navori Quick Blades, second item. Gives you AD, crit, and ability haste, and also reduction in cooldown. So now, unlike Tristana, Xayah won't have her W permanently up. So basically, if you kind of think about it, Xayah's W is sort of like Tristana's Q, where you basically just get an attack speed increase. So the first plus point of building Navori is that you will have your W up almost all the time, but not quite all the time like Tristana, almost all the time. And the other thing is, Xayah's main point of damage is not really her auto attacks, it's actually her Blade Collar, which is her E when she pulls back the feathers. You will have that up pretty much all the time that you want to actually pull it back, because although the cooldown doesn't come back immediately, of course you don't necessarily want to spam E anyways. You want to get out a couple of feathers, at least 3 feathers before you pull it back anyway. So pretty much when you cast it and you auto attack a couple more times, put out a little bit more feathers, pretty much it's going to be up and available again for you to pull back. So basically, Navori Quick Blade's second item on Xayah is amazing because you can get your W and E up so often. Of course you can get your Q up very often as well, but that really isn't very important compared to the other two abilities. So next up, we go for the boots. So boots on Xayah, I like to go for the boots of Fury in general, because Xayah has pretty long range and she has a lot of kiting potential. Xayah loves to kite back especially, so I think the boots of Fury, the additional movement speed, helps her a lot. Of course you can go for defensive boots or even lucidity boots if you so choose, but I really don't think those are very good. I think boots of Fury are in general the best. And normally you go for stasis for a second layer of safety in addition to your ultimate. And yeah, you technically can go for other enchants like QSS and Protobelt as well, but I pretty much never go for those. I always go for stasis. So next up, you get the IE, of course, for more AD, more crit, as well as more crit damage, pretty standard. And finally, you finish it off with the LDR, again, more crit, more AD, and the main thing, which is the armor penetration, also has the added benefit of giving you attack speed on that one attack. Of course, if you're against a tankier team, you can also swap these two around, building IE later, same thing as Tristana, and then you top it off again with a GA for safety. So with Xayah, if the GA is down and if you need magic resist, same thing as Tristana, you can go for Maw or you can go for Wit's End depending on what you want. And if you need like physical defense, you can go for Death's Dance or a full-on armor item like Randuin's Omen or Frozen Heart, as I mentioned in Tristana video as well. Pretty much the explanation for Xayah is nearly the same as Tristana, because Navori is actually a very strong item at the moment. So again, like Tristana, she has the exact same alternative build, which is gonna look something like this. Basically, with this build, you just go for the normal 2-item combo of IE and Storm Razor, and then you take the LDR, and then you go for the Bloodthirster for more sustain. Now, unlike Tristana, this build on Xayah actually crops up relatively often. This build is really good when you're playing into very tanky teams because you cannot really burst them down like using your auto attacks and also your E. So what you rather do is just kite them out and continuously attack them. And with the Bloodthirster, even when you're taking damage, you can pretty much restore a lot of that health back using the Bloodthirster, and therefore it provides you a lot more value. And I have had pretty much 50-50 matches where I go for Navori and go for Bloodthirster. So really Xayah kind of can go for both builds. But personally, Navori is the go-to build just because of how good Navori is at the moment. Okay, so Runes, Lethal Tempo for the attack speed. Of course, your main sources of attack speed is going to be Lethal Tempo and your W, of course combined with the Navori passive. And then, of course, you don't really have lifesteal if you don't go Bloodthirster. Even if you do Hunter Vampirism, it's still going to be the best rune for the domination tree. Again, Bone Plating is the default rune I go for in the Resolve tree. Of course, other runes like Hunter Titan or Nullifying Orb you can also go for, but I just love taking Bone Plating at the moment. It's my default option for like pretty much every single ADC. And finally, to top it off, we go for Nimbus Cloak. Now, because Xayah doesn't really need things like Mana or Hunter Genius, because she already has the Navori Quick Blades, pretty much there isn't really a very good option here. So the best option you have is Nimbus Cloak for the movement speed when you cast your summoner spells. Speaking of the summoner spells, we do have Exhaust and Flash, pretty standard combo, no real explanation needed. So with all that out of the way, we can jump straight on into the gameplay. Okay, so now moving on to the gameplay. Now, as usual for our complete guides, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and of course, leave any questions, queries, or remarks down in the comments below, and I will of course be sure to address them. Give it a like or something like that. Okay, so now we're jumping straight into the Xayah gameplay. Now, I'm gonna give a little bit of a spoiler here. This is the first and only time I've ever gotten better than 100% of players. So you'll see that later on we're better than 100% of XAYAHS. So this, needless to say, is a pretty stompy game. So it's kind of a spoiler there. Really stompy game from us. So first up, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about the actual laning phase first, as we always do. So we have a Leona and Laners. Now Xayah can go well with both Enchanters and tank support. Xayah doesn't necessarily love tanks or love Enchanters. Like with Enchanters, she does okay. With tanks, she does okay as well. But the plus side of going with tanks is you can land your root really easily. So for example, when Leona goes in, it allows me to Q for free and also get one auto attack. So when the CC from Leona lands, I can cast the E to chain CC with the root. So basically you can chain CC for someone really long if you're with a tank support, and we'll definitely see that quite a number of times throughout this game. Okay, so now we're against a Jinx and Soraka. Now Jinx and Soraka lane, what they want to do is they pretty much just don't want to fight. They want to play safe. But of course we don't want that to happen, so as you guys can see here, we are going in. Now unfortunately I get exhausted, so I don't get the kill on Soraka, but I did think that we could have gotten the kill there. Of course, I didn't take into account the exhaust, which was quite dumb of me because obviously we all know that we have they have the exhaust. So anyways, because of that, I blow my flash. Not really the best start in the world, and what I mainly got out of it was, of course, Jinx exhaust, but we also got Soraka's, both of Soraka's summoner spells. So overall, I'd say it's a positive trade. So basically, anyways, in the lane, we don't want to target Jinx in the first place. What we want to do is we want to target Soraka. We don't want to target Jinx because in laning phase, Soraka has a lot of healing, especially since I'm not opting to go for anti-heal here. So basically, what will happen is if we focus Jinx, Soraka will just spam heal the Jinx. So if you're against a Soraka lane, you want to focus the Soraka, you don't want to focus the ADC, because Soraka can't heal herself. She can only heal the ADC. So here, blowing both of Soraka's summoner spells is really huge. This should mean that we can get a Soraka kill sooner or later. And speaking of which, there's a whole bunch of shenanigans happening over in the mid lane. Now Jinx is left by herself by Soraka. Unfortunately, I wasn't quite in position to follow up from Leona's engage. If not, this would be a literal free kill. So that's really unfortunate, but we do manage to chunk out the Jinx, and Soraka is making her way back into lane. So we in the meantime, just gonna get a tower plate and just back off. So here we're just laying up the feathers, and some reason they walk between me and the feathers, gives me a free trade onto them with the root as well as the couple auto attacks. I did land in the Jinx trap as well, so they did trade a little bit of damage, but overall this is a very favorable trade. We do however want to play cautiously because we can see Diana over on the blue buff, so we do know she's in the area. So what we're going to do is we're just going to back and buy. So far, quite a action-packed laning phase, a lot of trading going on, however, no kills as of yet. We haven't died, nor have we gotten any kills, so pretty tame early game, all things considered. Not too much is really happening, aside from just heavy trading here and there. So much so that both Jinx and Soraka exhaust are back up, and my exhaust is back up, my flash is almost back up, and Soraka's flash is also almost back up, but we have not gotten a kill or taken advantage of that yet. So here, Jinx gets caught by Leona again. Here I'm just trying to lay down the feathers. I get the root onto Jinx, and Soraka tries to heal her through it, and she does manage to actually heal her through it. I try to ult to finish the kill. Unfortunately, I cannot hit the Jinx with the ult. Soraka walks between my feathers, and I am able to actually get the root onto Soraka. Leona goes in, and I'm actually able to finish up the kill on Soraka, and Leona flashes out. Here, Jinx simply just gets caught, and I don't know why she's trying to fight me there, but I get the second recall of the feathers, and Jinx is dead as well. So here, I was trying to get some tower plates, but then we realized that Yasuo is missing, so he's probably making his way down, which probably means that we don't want to stick around. Now, I know Jinx has rocket, there is the rocket actually, but the point I was trying to make here is that if you know Jinx has rocket, you normally want to take the fruit even if you are recalling, so that you are not at risk of getting sniped out by the rocket. But in this case, it sort of didn't really make sense anymore because we already saw her use the rocket. So yeah. Anyways, we pick up Stormrazor, boots, as well as a longsword. Pretty good start. We finally got double kill in the lane, and also we blew all of their summoner spells again. So here, as you guys can see, if Leona goes in like so, we can chain CC the Jinx like that, and Jinx is just dead. She literally cannot do anything. Soraka could have tried to heal her there, of course, but Soraka would put herself in trouble, and it could lead to another double kill because they don't have any way to get out. So this gives us an advantage in the dragon fight. Diana tries to ult, I ult to prevent myself from getting hit by the ult. Again, that's the strength of Xayah, the ability to just go untargetable and not actually get hit by ultimates. So here I managed to kill the Diana and flash away from the Yasuo. I get the pullback to help out my team against the Yasuo, and now Akali is left with a low HP dragon and a Soraka. Pretty much no chance Akali loses dragon to Soraka unless Soraka somehow hits the dragon with Q and steals it, but really well played by Akali. We can't see here because the camera is panned on me, but in the game itself, Akali actually waited for Soraka to use Q first before she finished off the dragon to ensure that no steal would happen. So really well played by Akali here. And in the meantime, we're 4-0-1 at the moment. We're doing really well, of course to no one's surprise considering the spoiler I gave at the start. But my team in general isn't actually doing all that hot. Wukong, for some reason, has gone for Warmox as his first item. He's 0, 1, and 2, and Warmox doesn't actually trigger on first item. Here, Jinx gets caught again. Chain CC by Leona, chain CC by me, and Jinx is dead again. Aatrox is 0, 2, and 0, kind of feeding at this point. And me, Akali, and Leona are doing fine, but we really have two people who are not really contributing at all. And another spoiler, by the end of the game, Leona does more damage than both Wukong and Aatrox. So you can sort of get the general idea of how they two aren't really contributing anything. So this is not like a completely free game where our whole team is stomping their team. It's really kind of a 3v7 in this particular game. So it's not like as free as you would think. Anyways, we do manage to actually pick up the first tower of the game, as well as pick up 3 full plates. This definitely gives us enough gold to pick up Navori Quick Blades as well as some items. So here, I knew Jinx was there, and I recalled in that position on purpose to bait her if she wants to actually, go on me. This is what's going to happen to her. She cannot fight me 1v1 because look at what items she has. She's 0-4 and 0 for 1. She was 0-3 and 0. She has a Last Whisper, does nothing much to me. She has a Vamp Scepter, a Longsword, and a Kirk-Eye Shard. I have no idea what she's really building towards here. Looks like she wanted to go for like a LDR, then she wanted to go for like a Bloodthirster or a Blade of the Rune King, and now she wants to go for like a Stormrazor or something. So I have no idea what kind of mishmash of like items she has in there, but there's no way she's killing a Xayah who has a completed Stormrazor and who's fed 5-0-1 at that point in time. So really she took the bait, and because of that she just dies. So anyways, here, since I'm so fed, I'm just gonna take the red buff. We all know that Wukong kind of useless at the moment anyways, and it's gonna continue to be useless throughout the rest of this game. So here, Jinx again trying to clear minion wave. She simply can't do that. Gets slowed by Leona, gets rooted, gets stunned, and gets finished off again. So this is going to be an ongoing trend with Jinx. Jinx has pretty bad positioning, and honestly at this point she's worth 150 gold only. That's like about 2 cannon minions, less than 2 cannon minions worth of gold at this point. So it's literally coming to a point where it's no longer worth to even kill Jinx. Like, I wouldn't flash for Jinx at this point. I wouldn't ult for Jinx most likely at this point, because she's simply not even worth expending flash and ult at this point. She's worth like that little gold. So here, Leona goes in to kind of distract them, allowing us to pick up the tower, being careful to avoid Yasuo root. Not Yasuo root, Yasuo tornado I mean. Here looks like a fight is going to come out. Yasuo tornado is dodged by everybody on the team. My team trying to turn for a fight. Pretty favorable fight in my opinion, as long as I don't get caught. Here Yasuo tries to go in. I go for the root on Yasuo, and we do get it. And here again, we're just staying in the back line, get the double kill on Yasuo. I try to flash forward for the triple because I saw pent-up potential in this particular fight, which is why I flashed for that 1 HP target. The moment I didn't get it, I'm not really bothering to chase the Soraka anymore. Akali can get that. And here instead, what we're going to do is we're going to push in the mid lane tier 2. Actually we're not, because we don't actually have a wave, unfortunately. We're going to clear the mid lane wave, and then we're going to back, because the enemy team is respawning. It's only 9 minutes into the game, so we can't really, do something like that at this point in time. That would, cause us to overstay, and as a result, probably die. So we're not going to make that mistake. So honestly, at this point, nothing too much is happening. We actually have a really good frontline this match with 3 frontline champions. However, problem is 2 of them aren't really doing very well. Here, Jinx again gets caught for some reason walking up, and she dies. Here I ult because I thought Diana was going to ult, but Diana does really well to kind of bait my ult first, and then she ults, so I do end up getting hit by her ult. But I did take a mental note of the fact that she held out when she went in on me, so I won't do that the next time. Here Yasuo goes in and eats all of the feathers, and he goes down. Here I'm really low, but I'm trying to kite around the fight, get the root on the Riven, try to hit the Q onto her, but I do miss. I don't want to really risk dying to the Riven there and giving her the 10 kill shutdown. So instead, we're just gonna back off and make the smart decision. Now both objectives are spawning, but we don't have health, as we all know. So we're gonna quickly back, grab ourselves the cloak while we're at it, and then we're gonna head on over to see if we can pick up the dragon with our team. Now enemy did summon Herald in the bot lane, so we also have to try to clear the Herald. Of course, we're pinging for dragon, and the team is indeed coming. Here I'm gonna just try to clear the wave so that the Herald won't crash too quickly, and that's exactly what we're doing. So here we have the Herald. Here all I'm interested in is actually clearing the Herald, but Diana wants to go in on me. Here again I hold my ult because I know that she doesn't ult. Here I wait for her to ult, and then I ult, and then I manage to 1v1 kill the Diana, who is their jungler, which basically guarantees us the dragon. At the same time, I clear the Herald. So the important thing to note here is the enemy parent. So sometimes some enemies will just go in and ult immediately, which is what most people do, but from the previous fight we noticed that Diana is not one of those people. She goes in and she actually waits to ult, to try to bait out my ult. So after falling for that trick one time, I'm not going to fall for it again. So what I do is, since she holds her ult, I hold my ult too. I only ult when I see her ult, unless she literally taps her ult, which will hit me but won't do too much damage. Jinx was caught again. If not, she's going to have to take time to charge the ult, in which time I can use my own ult to avoid it. So really not much Diana can do against me. One of the main reasons I picked Xayah in this match. Kind of forgot to go over this, but I mentioned this in literally every Xayah video, that you always want to pick Xayah into teams that want to run into you. So in this case, Yasuo wants to dash in, Diana wants to jump into ult, and also I can avoid her ult. And then we also have Riven, who pretty much just wants to run you down. Of course, Jinx and Soraka don't quite fit this narrative. However, the rest of the team is reason enough for me to pick Xayah, and here I get the Herald, and we go legendary. We were already legendary, but we pick up a couple more kills, I guess is a better way to put things. We're 14, 0, and 5 at the moment. Incredibly fair. We're at 13k gold, which is 3k gold higher than anyone else in the game. The next two leading people being Yasuo as well as Akali. And we're trying to get ourselves 100% crit. We're nearly there. Already got the triple crit items with the with the IE completed. Now we're trying to get ourselves the LDR. Honestly, in this particular match, LDR doesn't have too much value because there isn't really a lot of armor on the enemy team. But again, you still want to go for LDR. You always need armor penetration items because of enemies' base armor, and I do expect someone like Riven to eventually start building armor, so that is of course going to be helpful for that. So here kind of we see a couple enemies in the top lane, so we're trying to push mid lane instead. We're just trying to cross map. Here Soraka is just trying to disturb us, not quite working out. Here we're going to use the Herald to actually finish up the tower because the whole enemy team is coming in. Here I kind of get baited by Leona going in, and I get hit by Yasuo. Here I recall the feathers, but Yasuo actually wind walled and dashed past me to actually prevent himself from getting rooted by the feathers, which is a really well played move by the Yasuo, and because of that I ended up getting solo killed by the Yasuo despite actually having my stasis up. I honestly just didn't think he had the damage to kill me, didn't realize he did so much damage, and now I could have used my stasis. Even so, I think there's a relatively high chance that I still die to him anyways, considering how bad of a position I'm in and that he dashed behind me. Anyways, here you see Wukong trying to go in. Wukong does absolutely no damage because he only has a Warmog, so he's just gonna get instantly destroyed. He has a Warmog and like a couple of mid-tier or like bottom tier items like the Negatron cloak and the chain vest, so I'm not quite sure what he's really doing there. And yeah, so basically he just dies. So we're not gonna talk about him. Here we finally respawn. Unfortunately, we did give over that shutdown, I think, to the Yasuo, and Yasuo is he was the most fed member of their team, and now he's even more fed. He's at 12k gold now. I'm still 4k gold ahead of him, but Yasuo is gonna become a problem. He now has the 3-item Horror Spike of the Bork together with the Solari and IE. So now Yasuo is gonna be a big problem. If he gets onto us, I think he kills us in like 2 to 3 auto attacks, so we don't want that to happen. Here Jinx again gets caught out of position, but I'm not in position to follow up. So now it's Leona who's caught out of position. Here again we have to be really careful of the Yasuo. Here you can see how much damage I do to Yasuo. Here I out Diana's ultimate again, root her down, Riven comes in. I'm just really kind of kiting away. I nearly die, but I know that my team actually needs my damage, so I'm trying to go back into the fight, but trying to be safe at the same time. Here you guys can see I'm blasting the Yasuo, and we do manage to actually secure the kill onto Yasuo, because Yasuo is going to shred my team, so we really need my damage to take down the Yasuo. Calculated risk there did pay off. Of course, there was always a chance I walk back in, Yasuo dashes on me, autos me, and I die, but thankfully that did not happen. And because of that, we are able to actually pick up the inhib as a group of 3. Riven cannot really do too much to stop us, although we do have pretty low health bars, so she could try to go in. That's exactly what she does as she ults and tries to come in. I do get the root on her, and we're gonna run away. Akali for some reason recalls in a really dangerous position, which is not what you really want. Here I'm just taking the fruit just in case. And the third dragon of the game is coming up. We do already have the first 2, so of course we do want to get the third one. So we're gonna quickly reset. I complete my GA, which gives me a complete full build, 4 crit items with the GA. At this point, 16 minutes into the game, and here Akali actually didn't manage to recall. Diana chased her all the way into our jungle, and as a result got baited and died. So now this is amazing because this basically gives us the free third dragon and puts us in prime position to just pretty much end the game. Not that we weren't already in prime position to do that. We are 12k gold ahead, and now with triple dragon, pretty much, I wouldn't say it's an unlosable game, but it's a game that we definitely should be winning. The only wrench in the work could be like if Yasuo and Jinx suddenly pops off. So Yasuo is decently fed despite being 6, 7, and 2. In terms of items, he's doing really good. He's almost getting his GA as well. And Jinx still has a random assortment of items. Still not quite sure what she's trying to build here. However, what we can count on is the fact that Jinx is a reset champion who can just pop up in a fight out of nowhere, even when you're feeding. So we're getting to the point where people are kind of scaling up, like even when they're behind, the Jinx and the Yasuo have scaled up. So we don't want to underestimate what they can do. Here Wukong and Leona goes in. But I'm way too far away to really do anything. Wukong can kill the Jinx by himself though. So not too much of an issue. The Jinx is a really squishy boy. Can't really do too much to her. Here, unfortunately, Leona tries to flash stun the Yasuo, but Yasuo's recall does manage to go through. So here, now that we've got like mid lane pressure, we can focus on pressuring other lanes, because any team's gonna have to deal with super minions in the mid lane pretty much permanently. So here I'm gonna focus on pushing in the bot lane. My team is basically all resetting, so we don't want to overstay on the map as a result. So here again, we're gonna just pick up the red buff. However, since Wukong is here, we're actually gonna let him take the red buff because buff sharing does exist. So why not buff share? He apparently isn't interested though. So I tried to give him the buff. He doesn't want to take it. So of course I'm gonna take it because why not? So here we pick up the red buff. We still have our GA up, so we can afford to play more aggressively if really needed. But generally, we just want to play safe. And we want to play as if we don't have a GA. We just want to play safe. Don't want to do anything too reckless. Here, I'm afraid that my team is going to do something reckless, which is why I'm kind of hovering around. As I say that, Yasuo just pretty much just goes... not Yasuo, Aatrox just pretty much goes in. He died. And here, I'm trying to stay back and trying to kite out the fight. I exhaust Riven, who's going in on me. I'm still at full health. I'm just trying to attack wherever I can. Here, I'm trying to actually kill Yasuo, but the wind wall is actually blocking me. Here, I'm flashing away because I'm afraid of the Yasuo and Diana together. And here, I'm warding over the wall to check out what's happening. Yasuo dies to Akali, and here I'm coming back into the fight to join my team. Here, Riven tries to... not Riven, Diana tries to go in, and Diana dies. Here, I kill Soraka as well. Riven tries to go in, but she can't really do very much. I kill Riven as well. And with that, we get a triple kill, and that will be the end of the game. 19-1 and 11 at the end of the day. Really hard carry performance from our Xayah. And also as a result, of course, as I mentioned, you will see in a moment's time, we are better than 100% of Xayahs in this particular match. So I'm really proud of that. So anyways, guys, I'll leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.